welcome to October. Today is Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. And as I told you a couple of days ago in the last video, I think the theme was gather yourself. And there were three subtopics, if you will: compose yourself, collect yourself, and communitize yourself. Now, I know communitize is not a word, it was the dialogue with the spirit. And I want to first say that all summer long, I have been saying, there's a thread that's happening. Spirit is just telling me to say these things. And so there were a set of messages that were about warnings, prophecies, preparedness is what I call them. And then there were another set of messages for people who had been going through a crazy life cycle of being the black sheep or being socially awkward or isolated in so many regards. And those of us that have really had to be cognizant of being tested by life, the universe, God, right? I identify the universe as a mechanism of God. And so I do believe that it is a computerized system, a programmable and programmed system for which messages can be relayed through frequency, sound, all those things. How to put that out there. And so in those set of messages were the themes of releasing yourself from what you know and trusting your instincts, trusting your intuition, and trusting the spirit. October 2024, and you can watch those videos. I have one on being the black sheep, one on divorcing your family and going where you need to be, standing your ground, all of that. All of that has come to a head for October 2024. And I delayed this message by about 7 days because when I wanted to talk on it or speak on it, I kept seeing Titanic, Jack and Rose, when they were on the helm of the ship right before they were about to make impact. And Jack says to Rose, "Are you ready?" And they proceed to hold their breaths at impact. And it seems a little interesting that message would come up right now during this hurricane season. And we know that hurricanes spiritually not only represent a cleansing, but in some cultures, hurricanes represent actual deities and energies. And so right now is the perfect time for you to make a decision about what you're going to have to do with the rest of your life. Some people, and I do see a great migration, and I don't know if this is because of what's happening in the weather, but I do see people moving state lines, and then people making a decision to move out of the country. But what is really being said here is that you're being called, you have been called to a level of leadership that you might be uncomfortable with, that you have to now use your voice in order to bridge the gap between the spirit realm and humanity. Now, those of us that are in this collective tribe, this intimate tribe, we are empaths and seers and oracles and all the things. We're gifted and talented, and we have been overlooked, and we have been completely denied access to the full range of our humanity because we have been called weird for so long. We have been if the worst thing could happen to one person over and over and over and over again in one lifetime, it would be us, all right? But Spirit is saying that it is now time, because leadership has now become an illness, right? Spiritual leadership, political leadership, whatever you could, even in your family, things are dying out. Pillars are crumbling. Cornerstones are being completely disregarded. And so Spirit is doing a cleansing. It's almost like a genocide of what was so that the new could come. 2 Saturdays ago, I had a dream about being in a metropolis, a new earth, a new consciousness. And Spirit was telling me that it's time to elevate what you know. And the only way to do so is to leave your emotions behind. And I think the hardest part about this message is telling you that you are really going to have to leave. Some people might have to move, and that might be because of the weather. It might be because of other circumstances, but you need a new environment because you are a visionary. You are prophetic and you have these inclinations. And as a healer, you have to go now where you are not just tolerated, but you are supported, where you're not just celebrated, but where you are sought after. And if anything that I can say is that October is definitely going to show people or show humanity this divide, this great divide that has been happening between those that have been truly set apart, right? And I don't want this to sound too biblical, but if that's how it comes across, whatever. But there's been people, it doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter your skin color, tone, your academic pedigree, it doesn't matter from where you come, your sexual orientation. There are a segment of humans that have a vitality and a life force, a connection with the spirit realm where they on conversation, on thought, this generation to say on sight, can immediately cause a change and a rift in humanity and literally create planetary realignments just energetically, and really be powerful stewards of what the divine is calling higher and what this ascension really means. So for you that know that fear is not an option in this next phase, because I told you we are going to go through some really strong times. It's going to be nasty, ugly, painful, ugly, scary. Okay. And we are just at the precipice of that. We are on the cusp of something that we as Americans have never experienced before. And so it's going to take people that have been through rough times. It's going to take people who know what it's like to literally lose everything, be bare ass in nothingness, and rebuild ourselves to be able to strengthen the human collective. And so for you, I'm letting you know that you have been chosen and you have been called and set aside for a very specific demonstration, and you do not have a choice in answering yes. Why do you think it is you could not unalive yourself? Why do you think it is that when people put death on you, it wouldn't work even though it was like this close? Why do you think it is that you get opportunities after opportunities and open doors that you don't even have to knock on, because there is a spiritual covering of protection on you? And I don't have to explain that. You've seen things that you should not have seen and experienced things that you should not have experienced at an early age, and that had replicated just a line of ramifications that could have completely destroyed your life, and in some cases it really rewrote your destiny. It's going to take people like you to galvanize the soul of the human collective, which is in itself indefatigable. It is restless. It is immortal. It cannot die. It is highly spirited. Now, it may be shattered at times. It may be broken. It may go into isolation and occlusion at times, and even may feel as though it has dimmed completely away. But you are the spark to the light of the future. So Spirit is saying, gather yourself so that we can gather ourselves. Compose yourself. Everything that you went through, you did go through it. You're not going through it anymore. Collect yourself. In some cases where some of us are being called to move out of state, out of city, maybe even out of the country, you might only be called to take a few things. You can't take everything that served as a memory to your former life, because where you're going, it has to be lightweight. And the third thing, communitize. We need each other more than ever before. And if you know, like I know, that there's something special and powerful in the human spirit that we must bring together to ascend, you will do your work. Rest time is over. You've done well. And now we graduate, we ascend, and we do. Welcome to the future. This is October.